I see there's 2 people in here. Can you guys just say hi so I can tell that you guys are here? It's rolling. Anyways. I feel like I need to sit really proper. Okay. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Alright. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nobuhle Kumalo and I've got a lovely guest this afternoon. I'll let you introduce yourself.
I'm Farzana Botha. I represent the Sanlam Savings business.
And today we are just going to be talking about some of the stats that Sanlam ran about the pandemic and how it affected a lot of people, but I specifically asked to dive into us, our generation. So as you guys would have seen, there's this hashtag Dear 2019 Me campaign that they're running that I've been part of. Thank you so much for you guys for actually participating. It's been so lovely reading all of your messages. And I'm hoping that when you guys watch this live, you can also see that as much as you felt like you were the only one going through something, trust me, we all went through a lot during lockdown. So Farzana, how was your lockdown? How did things go?
Yeah, initially it was a little bit of an emotional stressor for me, I must admit. I have a very active and busy lifestyle, and my work saw me go out to see people a lot, and all of a sudden I was stuck at home. And I think initially I expected it to be a short period, so I was biting down. I was like, I can do this. And then as we kept being extended, I think it sort of deflated me a lot. And then I did struggle a little bit just to get my head around what do I do with myself? How do I make this, make the most of it? And then I kicked into gear and thought, it's time to, as they say, glow up.
Exactly.
So study and work and develop myself as best as possible.
Forgive us, there's a bit of noise behind us, but that's what lockdown has taught us, that you keep going because things are just unexpected. So always be ready. So with me, I also had a similar thing. For me, it was actually my first year of work. So imagine joining a new job and now you're sort of on your own. You don't really know what you're doing. You think you do, but you don't really know. But I'm happy to say that we got out of it. Ish. Are we really out of it? No one knows. So can we talk about the financial aspect? So I know.
Sorry, it's a car.
It's a car.
These things occur very much in the big city, as most of you would know, but it should be out of our way soon. There we are.
So in my video, I touched on the financial impact that lockdown had on us, and I mentioned that I wasn't really prepared for it. I hadn't saved enough, so by the time it hit us, I found myself going into overdraft quite a lot. Do you think this is a common thing for people to feel like they haven't saved enough? Or do you ever reach a point where you say, okay, I've saved enough, I'm happy?
Well, I think that you never quite get to a point you feel like you've saved enough, because a lot of the times we're saving for unforeseen circumstances. And even for those of us who were somewhat prepared for like a rainy day or a burst tire, we had lockdown.
Yeah.
And that brought like expenses that you couldn't imagine, right? So there's no way to be sufficiently prepared for all the risks that could present itself to you. But I think it is very empowering to be somewhat prepared. And a lot of people didn't feel like they were somewhat prepared if we look at the survey that we did. So we do believe that, or you might think and I might think that people are not adequately prepared. So we took it out there and we thought, let's speak to the public and let's see. So we actually did a poll, and from that finding we saw that a lot of people, I think more than 50%, had wished that they had some kind of savings in place, and a lot of them wished that they had started a long time ago. So, I mean, I actually have the stats here because I don't want to deceive the audience. And when something is in black and white, then you have to believe that it's true. So we have 54% of South Africans are not able to make their money stretch. That's the findings that we've got. 63% of the respondents who participated in our poll said they wish that their pre-pandemic selves had saved more consistently. So I think consistency is key there, because some of us try, but we don't succeed to do it as a habit. And 18% of respondents said that they had no savings at all. So, I mean, considering the poverty situation we already have in the country and a lot of people just making ends meet, there's 18% of those people who didn't have anything at all.
Yeah, that is the tense. I think I probably at the beginning fell in the 18%, but I mean I was 2 months into my job. So yeah, those stats are scary. And for once, I'm in like the bottom thing. So, but it's fine, guys. We'll make it out. I just wanted to ask, with the consistently, I know you meant like you emphasize on the word consistently. How do you make sure that people, like, how do you save consistently? Because I know it's very easy for me to save money. Like if I'm getting my overtime money or I've made some additional money, it's easy to save that, but it's not consistent. I'll save maybe once every 4 months. So how do you train yourself to be consistent?
Well, I like that you use the word train because, like, there's this saying that you can't flex a muscle until you built it, right? By the same token, if you want to create a habit or a pattern of savings, you have to commit. And commitment we help you, we partner with you as a financial institution to give you structures that allow you to create some kind of committed savings. And it's almost like having a big brother helping you along on the journey. So it does help. You have like an accountability partner to say, I'd like to commit to a certain savings every month. And there are certain plans that allow flexibility that if, for example, you can't afford it, you don't feel trapped, but you use that mechanism to help you to commit so that you can start that new habit and build that muscle so that you can flex it in the future. So that's probably a good starting point. Commit in your mind, then commit with a partner, and then off you go.
I think that's actually a good thing because I know I commit to things when I know people are watching. You know, so it's like if you're gonna start a fitness channel on Instagram, perfect way because I know I don't want to post once a week.
Yeah.
I want to post every single day possibly. So I'll gym every day. This is like in my head, by the way. I don't exercise that often. I wish I did because then I'd have these guns.
Well, that's why I could use that analogy, right? So now
Exactly.
I'm close to being able to flex.
So I know other people also mention that what helps them save consistently is if they make their savings like a debit order. So it goes off automatically. You don't have to go through that anguish of thinking, oh, I'm saving this every single month. So I think what you said about partnering up is definitely something that I should probably consider because once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
But then it's actually not really gone, it's yours.
Yeah. So you've got to almost trick your system, right? So putting a debit order in place allows you to save before you start spending. So it allows you to put that discipline in place, and then you actually become unconscious of it because now it becomes part of your normal monthly expenses. And what you're essentially doing is creating this little nest egg without actively working on it consciously, you know.
And it also does the thing of paying yourself before you pay other people.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. No, I'll try it. I'll let you know. And then moving on to the emotional side of things. We all know money is a very sensitive topic. So, you know, when you're not really feeling rich, your mood also goes a bit down. Are there any stats that you guys did where you assess the correlation between financial stress and emotional stress?
Yes, absolutely. So it was a big part of our survey as well, because we do believe, and we had done a segment earlier this year as well that saw a strong correlation between financial issues and divorce.
Oh,
and now suddenly you're stuck in lockdown, you have financial issues, you have the fact that you have close proximity 24/7. So we can only just imagine the effect it had. So to refer back to my professorial notes, to prove that what I'm saying to you has some value. From a relationship point of view, 55% of people saw that financial pressure coupled with all the uncertainty tied to the pandemic had put a strain on the relationship. So more than 50% of all committed relationships experience stress as a result of finances. 31% cited depression and anxiety as a main relationship stressor, but there's also a correlation between financial literacy, financial stability, and anxiety. So you can see that obviously had a lot to do with what happened during the pandemic.
And do you have any coping mechanisms that you would recommend to people? I know this is now not a therapy session, but the fact that your finances are so aligned with your emotional and emotional well-being, is there any way that you would advise people, especially people who are in relationships or about to get married? I don't know. I guess be open about money.
Yeah, so it's definitely not an area of expertise for me in terms of my profession, but just from experience and from discussions I've had I think it's very important, and young people overlook this, but financial compatibility in a relationship is a thing. It's a real thing, and you don't realize it until you already signed the dotted line and you've got your anti-nuptial or your COP in place, and then you realize that, hey, I want to save, and this man wants to spend every spare cent, and he swipes our credit card for every little thing, and you only realize that too late. So I think have those open and honest discussions. I think couples are a lot more open now. I mean, social media and stuff allows us to express ourselves fully. There's a lot less barriers to entry there. So in that, try and be more open about who you really are in terms of your spending behaviors. What do you prioritize? Do you prioritize eating out, or do you prioritize delaying gratification? Like, what is your story?
Hiding because I like eating out.
Well, I do too, but then like part of flexing that muscle by training it first, like I enjoy eating out if I spent the whole week committing to my diet plan, for example, or cooking meals 5 days a week so that I can enjoy eating out on the 6th day. So it almost sweetens the reward. So there's that, but make sure that there's some degree of compatibility, and where there isn't, there's some degree of negotiation and what do they call it when you're meeting halfway?
Compromise.
There we go. I don't do it enough, so that's what I'm going to work.
Oh, look at you!
No, I'm kidding.
No, I didn't.
But there's that, so at least if you know beforehand, it takes some pressure off. Because it doesn't help that one of you is really trying, you're on this mission now, and the other person doesn't know how to partner with you in that journey, or is on a different mission altogether. And at some point, it's going to cause division in the relationship, I think.
No, I definitely agree, and I think a lot of us have actually seen it happen, and maybe you haven't had it personally happen because you're still in the honeymoon phase where money's just, there's so much money you can eat all day, but when it comes to like actual commitment and you guys are married, you actually have long-term goals, so you need to now start planning for your money. You can't just wake up and go to the Bahamas because you're in the mood for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I could.
Yeah.
One day.
And I mean, you've heard the adage that two is better than one, right? So if you put your minds together, if you have open discussions, you understand what is our collective expenses, what is our collective debt, what are our collective goals, and if you both have a clear picture, you get there a lot quicker. But I think you're actually doing yourself and your partner a disfavor by not communicating that, because where you could be working together, you're now creating a division, which adds a bit of stress.
100% agree, and I hope my boyfriend is watching.
He said he would. He told me he would. Promise.
Okay, I hope he didn't lie.
He was probably just being nice to me.
He's still driving back. So guys, I always say like the best medicine to anything, whether it's a mother-daughter relationship or you and your boyfriend or spouse or whatever, just communicate. Once it's out there, it's there. Because like sometimes people think someone is rich and they're really not. I'll tell you a funny story. A funny story. Listen, when I was young, my mom told me she only earned, I won't say how much, okay, she said 3,000 rand.
Yeah.
So cool. She told me she earned 3,000 rand. So whenever we were at the grocery shops, and I see the toast at the till, I'd minus from the 3,000 rand. So okay, the groceries were 700 rand. Oh, she's got 2.3. Okay. And then she paid for our school fees. Obviously my dad would also pay for things, but like this is my mom. She'd pay for this, she'd buy a dress for 600 rand, I'd like true it, I'd minus. I'd be like, oh my word, she's left with 600 rand. So when she's at spa, like after church, she'd be like, just grab any chips or sweets that she wants, and let's pay. And I'd always say no, because in my head, I'm like, she's only got 600 rand. Yeah. Payday is about 15 days away. I'm fine. Yeah, and then when I got older and I saw the pay slip, I was like, you lied to me.
For the parents watching, that is brilliant. For the kids watching, what a thoughtful child. Like, that's how you want to be. That's what you want to aspire to.
I'm definitely telling my kids the same thing.
And that was the CA training from then, right?
Exactly. But yeah, so I guess it worked because I always thought for her. But now I go all out. She offers this, I want this. I'm compensating.
Delaying gratification.
I just want to move on to relationships and lockdown, and we've spoken briefly about like marriages and people getting divorces, but I know some people who also like had big families, and some people lost their jobs, like the breadwinner might lose their source of income. Are there any stats that speak to that?
So there was a very interesting thing that we did find in our survey. It wasn't all doom and gloom.
Okay.
What we found is that it forced people to have family discussions. So they found that there were more conversations being had, more disclosures being had, because now they needed to try and make ends meet and try and balance the checkbook. So now suddenly you're calling the whole family in and you're saying, what can we do to manage our family expenses now that we have less money? And then everyone is communicating better. There was an instance where a family who was taking care of their older parents, that suddenly they understood what their parents' financial position is and what they can do to make it better. So there was that came through. I think there was almost a 20% increase in the amount of people having more conversations all of a sudden as a result of being forced into those circumstances.
Okay, so some light at the end of the tunnel.
I think there's a lot of light, and in every threat there's an opportunity. I know you've heard that in business as well, and that's exactly what we see with the pandemic, right? So it forced a lot of us. When I know that you mentioned dumplings, and I love dumplings, and then they took it away from us, and then suddenly we're all learning how to cook.
Exactly.
How to replicate the
I learned how to make KFC, just so you guys know.
Like, it forces you to innovate, right? So it's the same with our finances. It forces you, that disruption forces you to find a way to make it better, to create efficiencies. So there's always a positive, as long as our minds are set to look for the positive, and that's what we need to take out of the survey.
I 100% love that, because my channel also grew during lockdown because I needed the extra money, and I was like, okay, let me try do this. So I actually got monetized during lockdown, and now I'm just earning the money on the side. So it's great.
Oh, that's cool. It's wonderful.
It also reminds me of this meme. You know, when we have load shedding and people will be like, oh my goodness, load shedding. I had a 2-hour conversation with my wife. She's actually a lovely person.
She lives in my house.
We have so much in common. So I think with the lockdown as well, I mean, it was 21 days initially, and then it got stretched out forever. So you realize that actually you just had to do with what you had. But I definitely do think that it also did strengthen a lot of relationships. It also showed us how much relationships were important. You know, I know like with people having funerals or weddings, suddenly the numbers are limited, and you realize how important community is. You know, it's not the same. I know the whole process is for the 2 people getting married or the person getting buried, but it's not the same when you don't have the numbers. But I'm still hoping the marriage numbers keep very small. I want a 10,000 rand wedding. And then I'll say everything else.
That's what I did. And that was years ago. It just made sense. So I was like, what can we do on a small budget that will have the highest impact and have the most personal feel? So we tried to do everything with that money, so that as a couple starting off, we had enough money.
You can buy a house. You can.
So like, it just makes sense. And I think a lot of people, we were forced to realize it through the pandemic. But then when it happens, you're like, this is my jam. I can play this all day.
I'm recruiting you to come speak to my parents when I do get married. I hope you like Pietermaritzburg.
I'm from Pietermaritzburg.
No ways!
Yes, I am.
Okay, wow.
We got out, by the way.
Oh, this is perfect. Thank you, God. You know. Okay, I'll see you.
I'm from there.
I don't know which December I'm getting married, but it'll be at December. I hope my parents are not watching. I do have a couple of questions from some people.
Sure.
And I'm hoping that I can ask you. So we know you're not a financial advisor.
Yes.
I want that out of the way. I'm not a financial advisor, she's not a financial advisor. But we do deal with money in different ways, not physical money. So we can tell you based on our own personal experiences, but if you do need like personalized information for yourself, please do seek a registered financial advisor. Alright. Before I get into it, can I just check that it's still recording? We could have been having a fat chat with no one.
At least we got to know each other.
Exactly.
We have friends.
We are definitely rolling. I'm very proud of this. Okay. Let me check questions. Okay, the one question I could say from the top of my head was how to get into the habit of saving. Okay, we've spoken about that. The one was how do I make sure that I retire comfortably? What are the factors one should consider?
Okay. So, just off the top of my head, let me just position where I am in the savings business so that will help you for context to realize that I can't give advice, but I can make it very practical for you in terms of some of the steps you can take Ultimately, you really need to partner with a professional to get you to the journey, right? Or through the journey. So I belong to the Sanlam recurring savings business, and our philosophy is to help people to save, either for something like retirement or just for your rainy day or your specific goal. And in our client solution space, we think, okay, what is it that the client needs? What are their objectives? What are their goals? And how can we put products and solutions in place that meet those needs? So for a retirement journey, for example, there's a thing called a retirement annuity. It's a fantastic vehicle because the government gives us a tax rebate on contributions made, so it's a double score. You pay your money, it goes into an investment account that accrues with interest over time, and at the end of every tax year, you get a rebate on contributions made up to 27.5%. So it is a win-win, right? So, and going back to the whole partnership thing, it allows you to partner with a professional body that understands the process and helps you to put your money in the right place. It allows for accountability, so there's some kind of structure so that you stay committed. And there's other built-in rewards that make the journey a lot more enjoyable. So a retirement annuity is definitely a very good place to start. The way to retire comfortably is to understand what is the amount of money that you will need to retire comfortably. And I'd be good with that. I can manage my expenses. For someone else, it might mean a lot more because they might have people they need to care for, children, so an advisor will help you understand that very specifically. They will project it forward, your future value calculations, let you understand how much do I need 30 years down the line to be in the same position that I am now. Medical expenses and all of that need to be taken into consideration. So have those discussions with the professional, they will paint the picture for you and then create the pathway for the journey, and then you commit and off you go on that journey. So that's probably the best place to start.
Okay. And with saving, would you,
Why? I don't know how to say this now. I'm trying to fix it in my head before I say it.
Anything nice for the client, but the audience won't.
Why should someone opt for a vehicle like the retirement annuity fund, or like a fixed deposit, or a safer vehicle as opposed to trading and investing their money in these different companies and hoping and praying that the share price goes up and up and up?
I hear you. So what you're basically trying to say is, should I use a fixed structure with a certain guarantee, or like a minimal return, but at least it's going to get me where I need to go? Or should I try and capitalize on the market, all the buzzwords that I hear on the internet? How can I get in on that action? Well, I said to you just now in our previous question that you need to be specific about your outcomes and your goals, right? And if my goal is for retirement, then I need something that's conservative and committed that gets me to my specific outcome, and therefore I need a structure that meets that need. And if I have some spare cash and I'd like to capitalize and take some risk, a little bit of risk, and go into the market and trade and use different funds, then I can go and invest. So here, right here, we need to create a distinction between saving for a specific outcome and investing to try and capitalize on certain market returns, right? So if I'm saving, there's a certain element of caution that's built in, because you're saving for either a rainy day or for a very specific outcome. So you want to make sure that when your money is invested, you're most likely going to get what you need to meet that very specific objective. When you're investing, you're trying to take your wealth and grow your wealth, right? You want to double, triple your
crossing your
money.
fingers and toes.
Yeah, so there's almost no guaranteed investment structure. I mean, you can buy guarantees, they come at a price, but when you're trading and you're investing, they come at risk as well. And the higher the risk, the higher the potential reward. But if you wanted for something specific like Ebola in 3 years, you're not going to take a risk in the market. In 3 years' time, we have a lockdown and then that's what happens to the market. Now I can't afford my bride anymore. Like, that's not a risk that you want to take, right?
Exactly.
You want to make sure you can afford your bride purchase. So you need to define your outcomes, and based on those outcomes, you decide, okay, actually this is more of an investment choice that I need to make because I'm willing to take some risk, or I need to make a savings choice here where there's a certain amount of caution built in. It's very time specific, objective specific, and that's where your professional advisor comes in. They help you to make that decision based on your goals.
Okay. I think you've also answered this other question, which asked how do we balance saving and investing. So I think you've got that.
But maybe just to elaborate on that very specific question, you want to get the balance between both, right? So you want to save, cautiously save and slowly put money away, but you want to invest because you want to build wealth. So try and get the saving done first. Like as we said, when you get paid, put some money towards savings, and anything I have left over, if I can buy something at a discount, or if I can delay buying something, then I can take that money and try and invest it and see, can I make more money on this money? And when I do, then I can maybe go buy that more expensive thing or something like that, right? So you want to save first to make sure I put something in the kitty so I have it when I need it. And then you want to free up capital to try and invest so that you can grow your wealth, grow your net worth over time as well.
And then with saving, do you recommend people put their money in one vehicle or one company? Like, would you recommend that they split it, like Sanlam, then you have your fixed deposit with your bank, then there's this? Does it really matter?
I think it matters in terms of your objective again, right? So you do need a variety, but the variety speaks to your objectives. And not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily mean I need to have 10 different companies to mitigate my risk. I can have 10 different products with one company that speaks to all my different objectives, and that mitigates my risk.
I see.
So I could be, and at Sanlam we've got the entire product suite. So if a client needs life cover, if he needs disability, for if he gets disabled, he wants to cover that risk. If he wants to save for retirement, he can. If he wants a 5-year endowment, he can save for that. If he just wants to share trade, he can do that on an app with some collective investments. So there's all these things with the particular company, but they each have their own specific objectives that will meet the client's needs. So you can diversify in that way based on the different needs. You don't necessarily have to shop with 10 different product houses.
Okay.
You don't have to. Unless each product speaks very specifically to you, that's when you would actually go buy from a different product provider.
That's actually like probably my favorite thing that I'm gonna take away from here and go Google straight after. I like that. I like how you said it doesn't have to be different companies, because a lot of us, when we hear the word diversify, we think, okay, I'm gonna put it in bank A and bank B and also have a bank C. No, the fact that you said it can be different products, but it can all be housed by one company. I think that's also efficient,
And I think from just my own understanding, when you're with a particular company and if you have all your assets with them and everything, they tend to reward that loyalty. So, I mean, you can create diversification in one company and you can be rewarded even further, so then you can capitalize on building your wealth right there.
Say no more. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Farzana. I really appreciate this, and I really appreciate that you're from Pietermaritzburg.
I appreciate that we publicly announced that there's a place called Pietermaritzburg.
Oh my
I have
goodness.
friends at the gym who don't believe that place exists.
Please, it's the capital. I always say this, it's the capital. Come on. I hate people. They always say, are you from Durban? No.
No.
You're from Pietermaritzburg.
Yeah.
And you can see what Pietermaritzburg produces so clearly, Thank you so much. And guys, thank you so much for joining us. It's been so lovely. I've actually enjoyed this so much. My cheeks are hurting from all the smiling. Please do let us know if there's anything that you want to ask us again in the comments. I'll try and address it after this. But it's been so lovely, and thank you so much for being on this live. It is my first YouTube live, so
mine too. So now I'm a
look at
YouTube
us.
Star.
Please,
Life
like
goals. Done.
I promise you'll make a good 10K per month. I'm kidding. Not making
Or I can just stop trade.
I'm
just joking. It doesn't work like that.
Thank you so much, you guys, and we'll catch you guys later. And good luck for the competition for those that are still entering. It's #Dear2019. Please do check it out on my Instagram if you haven't entered. And good luck. I wish I could win, but I can't. And you can't either.
No, I can't. Stick to my day job.
Exactly. All right, bye, you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Please stop this. I don't even know how to stop.